Alcoholism is actually one of the leading causes of hypomagnesemia, low magnesium in blood. Yeah? Hey. You will see that magnesium deficiency is actually one of the major causes. Among the causes of magnesium deficiency is alcohol. Oh, as you drink your wine, saying wine is good for the stomach, wine is alcohol. Oh, this Christmas, I know there are people who will be flexing these holidays. You've come with a whole pack of Heineken in the village. You want to show these people they are suffering, you're doing better. Huh? On January, we are there trying to give you magnesium supplements. I assure you that. As you binge yourself on chapati this Christmas, remember, you're messing up the gut. Mineral deficiencies are coming in. Oh, on YouTube, let me say hi to some individuals here. It's amazing to have you guys here all the time, you know. Ses is in the building. I see Jambaka is in the building. That's Joab Oboge. Martha Makori, I see you. I see Javan Leo, Kilonzo Victoria, Margaret Oyigo, Nzembe the Queen, Roslida Nasuma, Lilian Ayako, Eddie Owidi, Hassan Said, Kekeli Kafu is in the building, Sarah Vuma from South Africa, Esther Ayuku, Magure Njoroge from Kino is in the building. Somebody from Isli, Mohammed Mahmoud. Karibu sana Mohammed Mahmoud. Priki is in the building. Joy Opande. St. Peter, hello. Nairobi Kahawa Sukari is in the building. Waswa David, hi doctor, watching from Kampala, Ugamba, Chichajeliwo, Omsaja. Pixel Craze is coming in, also tuned in. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on Wednesday, we had a very good conversation. And allow me to show you these signs. Nairobi Feather Weekly for Watch, thank you. Muranga Mudoni, I see you. Do you know those people who are chronic alcoholics, they normally shake, right? They keep on shaking and their faces are like facing one side. They're like, come on. Yeah? It's like it's a palsy or something. Their faces are always leaning one side. And then their skin looks like some form of glass and they are so emaciated and dehydrated. Do you know those are actually symptoms of magnesium deficiency? Do you know that? And then there's this smell that comes out of their mouths that is crazy. Hey, pombe. Hey. I think we've grown up knowing wealth in a very different dimension. We've grown up thinking that life that those people are living is the best life. And the one that I'm living is actually I'm suffering. So I have to go and chase that life in the cities. Let me tell you a story. When I was leaving campus, I was an active football player. Active, and I mean active. I'm so good at it. Try me. So when I left campus, I was about 62 kgs or so. I went into internship. And remember in campus, you're used to getting about 10,000 shillings at maximum. You pay your rent, unajaza gas, and then you buy some meat. And there was an alcohol brand called Legend. Do you guys know that alcohol? There was Legend, there was Napoleon, there was another one that killed my guy. It was called Mere Kings or something. The guy left us training football and he went to binge himself on that alcohol. Where? Blackout and the end of the story. So may his soul rest in peace. So those alcohol, those brands were the best. Why were they the best that time? They were the best because we could afford that. I remember then they came another one called 8 p.m. I don't know. There's another one called White Mischief or so. So those were the brands that we could afford. Everybody gets 350 shillings and all that. And then we make tunachanga. Now we have a basket full of these few thousands and we go and buy this. So we go fill the gas and then buy some meat, of course, very lean meat. And then buy some sukuma and some broken eggs. There were eggs that were called broken. Broken, you know, ama mimi niko dunia yangu. There were eggs that we could afford. So you want quantity. So these eggs that when they were being transported, they got broken and they can be sold only at half price. 5 shillings. I would buy that. And now we come and make all this ugali and that, and then we eat. After eating now, it's time for us to say thank you to ourselves for actually exploiting our parents 10,000 shillings that month. Now you sit back, you're enjoying your drink there, you're just... Why? What is so interesting about this alcohol though? What is the beauty about the alcohol? That when we take it, we are so... Tunafinya macho, it's so... it's bitter, but we can't drop it. So we would press those eyes and the whole night. And then now... One day, I've done a live about alcohol, but I'll do it again so that you can actually get to see the interesting stories because it targets you directly. most of the things that I talk about here, I've done them. So you're there now, you're vomiting after an hour because you were so fast with it. You didn't want autaki starehe. You just want to get high and move. There's a club in Thika called Pokies. I think it was closed. Pokies and Blend. You drink and then rush to Pokies. Just go and now pick ladies. Ay, kai daktari. Now, you go there, you're high already, so you don't need to overspend in the club because you came in high. Okay? That's just to top up some 2 beers and now you're seeing things. You will dance your whole lungs out. You get to the house, now your sweat is just smelling alcohol. Now tomorrow you're waking up with this headache, a severe headache, and then you're vowing I'll not drink again. But tomorrow somebody says, guys, I have 350. That day, I think 750 ml of Legend was about 450 shillings. So this guy has 350 now. We only need 100 shillings again to go back to the cycle. So I don't judge people who drink alcohol because I understand the cycle that comes with that. You are busy vowing, I'm not going to take alcohol again. And why am I talking about alcohol? Because our topic of the night, which is largely composed of magnesium, is going to talk about magnesium deficiencies. And I want to tell you this, alcohol messes your gut so badly. That's why these people are always, the following day in the morning, they're always in pharmacies taking omeprazoles. And I realized this was identity problems, actually. I was constantly chasing thrills. So I thought if I get alcohol, I'll now live the perfect campus life. I get alcohol, I get drunk, I'm struggling. The next thing I'm thinking, if I get girls, I'll be okay. I get a girl, I get girls, nothing is working. I kept on chasing things that I did not have. So I was running away from myself and ended up attracting myself. Join Fridays to see the identity, how these things unfold. Now, so I left campus at 62 kgs or thereabout. Of course, campus, small chairs and all that. So I left campus with that kg and then I went into internship. Now from 10,000 shillings per month, and for the first time I got good money. Trust me, they held our salaries for 3 months. And then boom, and I think this is one of the things that confuses medical interns. Those interns. So we get a lot of money. Boom. And then there is always KMTC somewhere. Yeah? Students who have gone through intern, they know. Medical doctors, pharmacists, and all those guys, they know. KMTC was, watch your story to watch. Let's talk about that some other time. But anyway, so I got there, I got this good money. Now I can walk into a hotel without looking at the prices before knowing the foods. I could now not care about the menu. I just get there and take and order what I want to eat and drink. I would go to Mombasa. There's a club that I was talking about at Bamburimusho called Mints. Below Mints, there is KFC. With KFC or Galitos, I can't remember very well. I don't know the difference though. So I knew there were chips and chicken being sold there. I could feed myself down there and then climb the stairs because Mints is on the first floor. I climbed the stairs. I'm there taking my Jack Daniels. I told you about that. Hey, I can afford it. Taking my Jameson. My friend. 2 shots and the lights are just nice. Those lights, and I believe it's very intentional that those lights have to just mulika those girls who are wearing these mini dresses. And if a girl comes in wearing red or wearing white and those lights, they just sprinkle on her. You're like, this one, I'm not leaving. Pasitoki bila ule, waiter. So it was a crazy life. And then tomorrow in the morning, you're busy in the pharmacy buying omeprazole. Why? Because of gastritis. You're buying paracetamol. Why? Because of the constant headaches, the migraines, because of the hangover. Then somebody lies to you that, you know what? If you have a hangover, go and endo-toe lock. Go and drink more alcohol. And that becomes a cycle. Now you're constantly chasing a thrill. How medical interns utugongea sana so to nurses to KMTC. Musheru, I can assure you that is the truth. As an intern, you're struggling to actually, like you've been struggling all through. Now you can afford a girl. You can afford to stay with somebody's daughter for a week and not complain. And you see KMTC is like a campus. It's actually a campus. So those ladies in KMTC are actually struggling. You will see them on TikTok. They're actually struggling. Now there's a guy here who is willing to actually splash money on them. Call them on Friday, give them food, let them cook, let them eat, and then give them drinks. My friends, if you have a child in KMTC, KMTC has the best standards in terms of training. But outside the campus, identity problems. So anyway, that was the life, and I hardly regret that life, because that is what made me who I am. The stories that I actually tell you that look interesting are actually hailing from me going through that experience. If I never went through that experience, I would never talk about this. Somebody's saying nurses, there's this category of the ones that are called nutritionists and all that, and they're dietitians, tulikuwa tunafikiria they are selected using their passports, so they have to make an application and then they send their photos and then they're picked. Looking at them, and trust me, imagine a lady who looks beautiful in that uniform for KMTC. How about if they just dress hizi nguo za nyumbani? Mtu akikaa, if this color, right? No, this one is a little bit better. There was that blue color of that dress. I was like, and now you pick one in that dress and she's looking beautiful. Trust me, that one is a good one. That one is a beautiful one. Because, there's a way that uniform makes them look, comme ci, comme ça, But anyway, we move. So I got money, I started drinking alcohol and did all these things. The things that I did not do is actually smoking and all that. The smokes, I didn't like it. But the alcohol, the totes, the excitement that comes with you being tipsy. You're walking, you're not falling, but you're just walking in air and trying to evade some potholes that you're not seeing. You're just evading them from your head. So that was the life. And I loved it. I enjoyed it at that moment in time until I realized, there's a problem. So imagine I moved from 62 kgs because I stopped playing football anyway. So I moved from, somebody saying smoking unadanganya. I did not do that. That one I can assure you. I'd never lie. I did not do that. That one was not my... I tried at least 𝗦𝗢 sometimes. A guy from his Lee brought us 𝗦𝗢. Then we went to Thika for a weekend. They even brought a DJ. Imagine that. So we were there trying to tunachonga. So we started this at around 9. And allow me to just deviate totally. We started this around 9. By the time we are getting to around midnight or so, I'm seeing these guys with swollen mashavu. Their cheeks are swelling. But I don't have it. I'm like, but what is happening? Why are these guys having this swollen thing and I don't have it? Then I'm asking these guys, what are you doing to have this big thing in your cheek? These guys are telling me, hii ndo kuchana sa hii kitu inashika. Energy drinks, alcohol and all that. And they were smoking cigarettes. That's what time I was closer to smoking, but I didn't. So, kumbe mimi nilikuwa na meza. I was literally eating the 𝗦𝗢. Nakula tu zinaenda. So I'm wondering, I'm taking the big G's and they are going. The nuts are going. Kidogo imeenda. I'm like, itafura saa ngapi? Wachana hii. Anasa wachana hayo. Kama uwezani nayo, inua mkono sema asanteni kwa kuja. So I struggled with that at 𝗦𝗢, the cat. Believe me, these guys did not warn me. So I kept on taking water. When I take water, it's gone. I take water, it's gone. I'm like, So I decided, this one is not giving me any peace because there was no hype, there was no high in it. I didn't feel anything good about it. And then I left, went to sleep. I slept at around, I think, 4, 5 there. I woke up the following day at around 3 p.m. But what woke me up is nothing but a groaning stomach. And then I rushed to the toilet. My friend, I was in that toilet for about an hour or so. That was my last experience with 𝗦𝗢. Nilikuwa natoa stool kama ile ya mbuzi. Very hard, very tough. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? Kumbe you guys, you have a lot of problems, but you're just lying to us that you're having fun. The constipation that hit me the following day, my friends. Wacha tu nirudi kwa Jameson na Jack Daniels. So I said, no way. This one, asante sana, I'm going back. Anyway, let's go back. On Wednesday, I talked to you about Ati unamezaje miraa doc? I don't know. It was my first experience. I was busy. I was just trying to have this one just fit in. Because you see there are Orias and all that. These guys and Meru guy is there. There's a DJ who was a Meru guy with, hey, like he has this kangumu here. Kumbe ni miraa. It's just, hey, we are listening to reggae and all that. It's hype. Then they are passing around this, what do we call it? Bang. On a puff and pass. I was skipping it. Why? Because I come from Western Kenya. There's a place called Luanda. In Luanda, I've seen people getting crazy because of weed, because of bang. So I was so scared about it. So in Luanda, they take these seeds of weed and those sticks and the leaves, and they soak it in petrol. And then they let it sleep there, and then they dry it up on the sun, and now you smoke it. Once you just do a puff, okay, the sparks. I'm like, this one. Mimi no, tawe. So I was so scared about it because I understood from where I was coming from what this was going to cost me. So I was like, tawe, let me try this new one. I went for the miraa. The sticks, not the matawis, no. The miraa itself, not mogoka. Anyway, so on Wednesday we were talking about basically nutrients. And we said nutrients are classified into two groups. Basically, we call them nutrients. So nutrients are classified into two. We have the macronutrients and the micronutrients. On the macronutrient side, we say those are macro, bigger ones, where we have the carbohydrates, the proteins, and the fats or the lipids. On this other side, we have somebody's telling you to finish this story. Where? Apana, listen to medicine, bwana. So we have nutrients and then macronutrients and micronutrients. When you see the word micro, no, it's the smaller ones or the ones that are needed in small quantities. Then macro, carbs, proteins, lipids or fats. On the other side, we have the micronutrients. On micronutrients, we have two classes again. I want you to hold that in your head because that's the side we are going. We've come from nutrients into the side of micronutrients, and we now have two of the micronutrients. We have the vitamins. We said we have fat-soluble vitamins, which is A, D, E, and K. And then we have water-soluble vitamins, which you said is vitamin Bs, all the B vitamins, and then vitamin C. There's another one that is called choline. It behaves like a vitamin, but it's not a vitamin. And then we have this other side where we have now, so we have vitamins, and then this side we have the minerals. Okay, so follow that chain. Nutrients, micronutrients, minerals, vitamins. Weka vitamins kando. Let's go to this side of minerals. In minerals, we also have micro and macro minerals. So macro minerals, we say it is magnesium, we say it is potassium, we say it is chloride, we say it is phosphates, and we say it is calcium. We talked about calcium as we finished the last live. On this other side of micro minerals, we talked about chromium. Do you remember the relationship between chromium and diabetes? I hope some of you remember that. I hope most of you actually remember it because I explained it deeply. That chromium is a very important micro mineral or micro element in terms of recovery from diabetes. It improves insulin sensitivity. However, we said if you've been diagnosed with diabetes, you need to use this for a short period of time because it actually improves pumping glucose from blood into the cells, the stores, and that is a problem. We talked about selenium and its functions in the brain and the thyroid. We talked about, did we talk about iodine? I hope so. If we didn't, we will do it again. We talked about zinc and its role in immune system. We also realized that zinc and copper are enemies. So when copper is high, zinc is low. When zinc is low, copper is high. And the reverse is true. We also know the relationship between magnesium and calcium on this one. So you'll know again, those two are enemies. There's another one that I'll reveal at the end of this one, okay? So understand, yes, zinc is micro. Zinc is a micro mineral, yes, same to copper. Not a micro mineral, it's actually a micro mineral or micro element. It's under micro. It's a micronutrient under micro minerals. This other side of macro minerals, magnesium, potassium, chloride, sodium, phosphates, and calcium. Okay, good. So keep moving. Today we are targeting the macro, but under one of the two, actually three: sodium, magnesium, and chloride. That is what we're talking about tonight. So enjoy that. And I'm talking about magnesium because it's a deeper one. There is a reason why magnesium is actually used as magnesium sulfate in pregnancy in women who are actually suffering from preeclampsia or eclampsia. Those convulsions, magnesium sulfate comes in handy. I know some of you who have done a CS, ladies who have done a CS, they don't understand it. They don't understand why we are using magnesium when we have hypertension. Now it's time to talk about it. I know there are people who have been diagnosed with psychiatric conditions, anxiety, depression, and all that, and they are given magnesium supplements to actually settle them down. You will understand why magnesium is very important in central nervous system support, also in bone support and teeth support, and also in pre-eclampsia and eclampsia. So welcome on board. This is Dr. Lewis Muchile Obunde. And let's jump into it. That was just a summary and a recap for what we did last time. So magnesium. We're going to talk about the symptoms of magnesium. High magnesium and low magnesium. What are the benefits and what are the odds or the problems? We're going to talk about the delicate relationship between magnesium and calcium. Why are they important in this? And why is one the enemy of the other? We're also going to talk about magnesium in pre-eclampsia. And from there, we can actually call it a night by finishing with sodium and chloride. But anytime we talk about sodium and chloride, we cannot miss out on talking about water, because water follows that. So sodium, chloride, then water. Good. So magnesium is a very good element, but it is actually found inside the cell. Now, look at it this way. We have blood, and in the blood, we have cells. And inside the cells, we have another fluid. So whatever is outside the cells is what we call the extracellular fluid. So blood, plasma, and the lymph and all that, that's extracellular fluid. Inside the cell, we have, sound is perfect. Okay, perfect, thank you. And then, so outside the cell, we have the extracellular fluid. And in the extracellular fluid, we have sodium ions, we have chloride, we have the calcium, we have the bicarbonates, and we have glucose. That is outside the cell. Now, this glucose, to get into the cell, you must open the gates. And those gates are the ones that are opened by insulin. And chromium actually helps that glucose to get into the cell from the extracellular fluid. Now, inside the cell, we have potassium, we have magnesium, and we have the phosphates. So understand that we have those that are outside the cell and those that are inside the cell. So magnesium is actually an intracellular, intra means inside the cell, an intracellular mineral. And now, magnesium can be exchanged with calcium because they lie under the same group in the periodic table. Do you remember those groups and periods? So magnesium and calcium, they lie under the same group in the periodic table. That's group 4, I think. So now, calcium and magnesium can be interchanged. When calcium comes into the cell, magnesium has to go out for us to maintain the homeostasis. So when a positive is coming in, positive has to go out. Just the same way when sodium is coming in, potassium goes out. So this one, when calcium comes into the cell to help in contraction, magnesium comes out. And when magnesium comes in to help in relaxation, calcium goes out. So they are interchangeable, okay? Good. Having understood that, I want you to see this. That calcium, magnesium, and phosphates all are components of the bone. So in your bone, by the way, the bone is the one that has the highest amount of minerals and microminerals. So therefore, bone soup is very important. Already we are starting to see the sources of magnesium. Bone broth is very important. So we have calcium, we have magnesium, we have the phosphates in the bone and in the teeth. So even your child needs bone soup to actually help him in developing the dental formula that is actually awesome. And then you drop the sugar so that they don't end up again having problems with their teeth. And then excessive magnesium. If you have more magnesium inside the cell, we've said if you're pumping magnesium inside the cell, calcium is leaving. That tells you that magnesium and calcium they can't sit in the same room. They are enemies. So that tells you if you have excess of magnesium, you will have less of calcium. If you have excess of calcium, you have less of magnesium. They are interchangeable. This is very important because some of you take magnesium without knowing that you're taking magnesium. I'm talking about people who are constantly taking antacids. Those liquid or those suspensions for antacids, they have magnesium trisilicate. And there are people who cannot live or stay without taking an antacid. They have that double action. They have another one that has fire on it. You know that? All of them are magnesium trisilicate, and some of them have magnesium hydroxide. So that is you taking magnesium without even knowing. So loss of magnesium causes bone problems. Yes, if you're losing magnesium from your system, there's a bone problem. Also, if you have excess magnesium, there's a bone problem, because when you have excess magnesium, the good thing is magnesium can be pumped into the cell to help you in easing up on pressure. But if you have excess magnesium in the system, that means calcium is going down, and that means bone problems. So both less magnesium and high magnesium can be a problem to the bone. Nito G, that's very true. So you see, you're pumping in calcium to help in contraction. You're pumping in calcium in the bones to help in bone density and bone strength. But the problem is, as you do that, you're affecting magnesium levels. But I want you to see this 𝗏𝗏𝗏G, because this question is very valid. By the way, listen to this. Lots of magnesium causes bone problems. That is true, right? But I want you to see this, that magnesium and calcium in the blood, they are charged. There's that magnesium 2+ and calcium 2+. So they are charged. But magnesium in the bone and calcium in the bone, they are not charged. So yes, you'll affect bone density and bone strength, but at a very small percentage. Why? Because for you to actually pump or for you to actually alter the calcium and magnesium levels, they must be charged. But in the bone, they are very neutral. They don't have charges. But this is important. When calcium in blood is going down, the body turns to the bone to break down that calcium to actually ionize it and bring it into blood to maintain the level. That's where the problem comes in. So the problem is not directly that this calcium, this magnesium that is going up in blood will actually affect the bone. The problem is magnesium is going up in blood, you bring down calcium, and now the body senses we have low calcium. So hypocalcemia. And then the body turns to the bone to break down calcium to release it into the bloodstream. When that happens, now we start having high calcium in blood. So indirectly you're affecting the bone. 𝗏𝗏𝗏G, I hope you're getting that. So it's not a direct relationship as such, but the end result will be calcium will be leached out of the bone. And that is a weakness to the bone. Anyway, let's continue. Somebody's asking cardiological issues. Yes, of course, calcium, high calcium. Calcium is used for contraction. We talked about calcium. Calcium is used for contraction of heart muscles, contraction of the smooth muscles, and also the skeletal muscles. It's used to contract. When it contracts, the glands reject their hormones. When it contracts, the heart pumps out blood. When it contracts your muscles, zinafanya kazi. Okay? Zinafanya kazi. But you see, when the muscle contracts, you fold your hand, right? You need the muscle to relax for you to release the hand. That is where magnesium comes in, because as the muscle is contracting and relaxing, it's actually picking calcium from blood and magnesium from blood. So it picks calcium to contract and then picks magnesium to relax, because now you're pumping calcium outside the cell. This is the same concept in blood pressure, hypertension. So hypertension, you have smooth muscles. There are cells of smooth muscles on the lining of the blood vessel. So when calcium gets into the cells of these smooth muscles, what they do is they contract. When they contract, the blood vessel constricts and blood pressure goes up. Now also remember, the same calcium that is high in blood is contracting the heart muscles. So that becomes a problem. You have high pressure and then you have narrowing blood vessels. So this is increased resistance. This means the blood pressure will totally shoot, and that can affect your kidneys. That can cause aneurysm, rupturing of blood vessels, and the strokes, okay? So calcium is not a very good one in blood in terms of higher levels. Anyway, I was talking about magnesium in terms of blood pressure. So when calcium is coming here causing this contraction, if you give magnesium, magnesium will come into the cells and replace calcium, and calcium will come out of the cell. And this blood vessel will now relax, the muscle will relax, and the blood vessel will dilate, and the blood pressure will fall. That is the mechanism of using magnesium in actually handling blood pressure. And that is also the mechanism of using magnesium in handling preeclampsia, the hypertension in pregnancy that actually causes convulsions. So you're pumping magnesium sulfate to actually make sure that there's relaxation of the smooth muscles that line blood vessels, so that when the blood vessel is relaxing, we are easing up on blood pressure. Okay? Good. So now, we were talking about how high magnesium causes low calcium and all that, and therefore weak bones and weak teeth and all that. Therefore, be very careful with the supplements, as they're constantly marketing to you that, oh, you know what, magnesium supplements are going to help you in relieving anxiety, they're going to help you in blood pressure and all that. Fix the causes. The cause of hypertension is not absence of magnesium. Magnesium can come in secondary to help you recover, but the cause of high blood pressure is not magnesium. It's not absence of magnesium, no. It's your bad diet that is actually causing you clogging of arteries. It's your bad diet that is causing you failure in kidneys. Therefore, there's no regulation of blood pressure. So fix the diet before thinking about the supplements. If any case, all these supplements are in food. Magnesium is very rich in avocados. Magnesium is rich in pumpkin seeds, so is zinc. Magnesium is rich in nuts, the almonds, the cashew nuts, the peanuts. Magnesium is rich in green leafy vegetables, egg yolks, chicken skin. Those of you who throw away the skin, this is time for you to eat the skin. And apparently people who have hypertension are the ones who are actually told to throw away the skin, the chicken skin. That's a problem. And do not trust the fortification of foods. Do not trust that there's magnesium in those fortified foods. There's fortified cereals. That is not magnesium. Simply go for natural and organic magnesium, which is found in those foods that I just mentioned. The seafoods also have magnesium. That tells you the body struggles to assimilate the synthetic calcium, synthetic magnesium supplements. The body struggles to assimilate them. We can only use supplements when we are eating foods that are coming from industries. Let me repeat that statement. The only reason why we consume supplements in plenty is because we are not even eating foods. We are eating products that are coming from the industries. And we are being lied to that they are fortified. And then we end up getting mineral deficiencies because these minerals have been depleted from these products during processing and the ultra processing. So they are not foods, they are just products. So now, you eat these products for about 5-7 years. What do you expect? The body is actually starving. So you're only adding fat but not adding any benefit to the system. Now the body starts to collapse, starts to reward you with health conditions for eating bad foods. And now you're complaining, oh, I have hypertension. Oh, I have this and that. All those conditions are coming because you have embraced the wrong idea of wealth. And you're thinking eating chapatis, eating these processed foods is actually being wealthy and putting up a standard. You're lying to yourself. You have money, you can afford those products, but again, you'll be able to afford medicine, right? So choose you. You either pay the farmer or pay the farmer. Choose the farmer that you want to pay. Anyway, point number 3. Taking magnesium can actually lower the risk of kidney stones. So I'm talking about both the benefits and the odds of magnesium. So when you take magnesium, either as supplements or either in diets, you are actually easing up on your risk of getting kidney stones. Somebody tell me why. If you had and understood point number 2, I want you to tell me why you think that taking magnesium or even magnesium supplements can actually help you reduce the risk of getting kidney stones. And I talked about this when I was talking about the calcium. So I want you to tell me, why is it that we can actually use magnesium to actually suppress our ability or our risk of getting kidney stones? Why is it important? Oh, I'll sit here and wait and read your comments. I'll sit here and just wait and see how doctors are already graduating. It helps in blood circulation. How does it help in blood circulation? Sibor, very good answer, but how does it help in blood circulation? Can high calcium cause high blood in the body? What do you mean high calcium causing high blood? High blood volume. Blood does not come from calcium. So that is not making sense to me. Well, exam time imefika. Yes. Mtihani imefika. Hey, I want you to tell me, why do you think magnesium supplements or magnesium on its own from the diets can actually be used to reduce the risk of people getting kidney stones? Acha tuone wasomi. Hapa ndo challenges zinakujia. What causes heartburn, please? Which food especially? Ai maze, heartburn on a magnesium live. Heartburn on a magnesium in mineral. Did you read the topic? Hey. Lowers cholesterol. How does it lower cholesterol? Kombua? It also improves water absorption. That could be true. Magnesium dilutes the kidney stone chemically. Okay, you've got deeper into the chemistry. Let me read here, something here. By binding to oxalate. Very, very true. Because you lower the amount of calcium going into the kidneys, which combines the oxalates causing magnesium, causing the calcium oxalates, common type of kidney stones. Hey, hapa watu washa graduate. I'm telling you. Here, let me just pin this comment so that people who are on YouTube can actually read it. Why am I pinning it? I'm pinning it because it is a true one. It is a true one. Good. Listen to this. This is from Bube Agnes. That because magnesium is going to replace calcium. Now listen, the most common cause of kidney, actually the most known cause of kidney stones, or the most known type of kidney stones, are the calcium oxalate stones. Now I remember I told you, magnesium and calcium are always competing. So they always have the same intake and outtake. They compete through the same channels. So in the gut, when you're absorbing calcium, you're not absorbing magnesium. When you're absorbing magnesium, you're lowering calcium. So one has to get in and one has to go out. This is the same thing that happens to the kidneys. Reabsorption of magnesium eases up on calcium. Reabsorption of calcium eases up on magnesium. So since these two are in the same group in the periodic table, they can actually replace each other. So what happens is when you take in magnesium, whether the supplements or in diet, you're actually replacing that magnesium, that calcium that is bound on the oxalate in the kidneys to form kidney stones. So that means you're going to ease up on the kidney stones. This is a technical aspect of it. So magnesium can actually come in handy in actually replacing calcium, and that means the kidney stones will just disappear. Amazing, right? And then you can now drink your water plus salt to just get them out of the system. That is perfect. So yes, that is how it happens. What deficiency makes one to eat mawe? I told you in the other live that is zinc deficiency. The white nails, the brittle hair, the eating of stones and changa, those are zinc problems. This is magnesium. Okay? Now, magnesium can actually help and improve blood pressure outcomes. We've talked about that, right? So already right now, you know, if you take in magnesium supplements, you're going to actually help yourself in easing up blood pressure. However, people who have been diagnosed with hypertension will think that, you know what, I'll constantly eat what I've been eating and now I can take magnesium supplements to get better. You are lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself because as you constantly eat what you're eating, you're actually feeding the disease. So there is no way you're coming out of this. There is no single way you're coming out of this. So you'd rather stop what you've been eating that caused you the problem, and then now you can actually enjoy magnesium to do other roles in the system. Because magnesium plays so many roles, from the CNS, from the nerves, from the bone, from teeth, from the gut function. Oh, it does a lot of jobs in the system. Anyway, another point, that magnesium is very important in formation and breakdown of ATP. Now, those people are constantly saying, you know what, I have to eat carbohydrates to get energy. When you eat a carbohydrate, you break it down to glucose, and that glucose has to go into several steps to actually yield ATP, which is the energy currency for the cells. Those steps are what we call the glycolysis. Okay? So glycolysis is breaking down glucose to get energy and all that. So those steps that are involved in this glycolysis process, there are about 20 steps. Those of you who have gone to medical classes and all that, you know of the 20 steps of glycolysis. Those steps, what happens is magnesium must be involved in formation of ATP, and then after you form this ATP, for you to break it down, you must use magnesium. So anytime you are feeling this low energy, just know magnesium, you might be having magnesium deficiency. Anytime you're having these symptoms of anxiety and palpitations, weak bones and bad dental formulas, now start associating that. Start thinking about magnesium. Go and check magnesium levels. ATP being the energy source of the system, adenosine triphosphate. So when you can't use glucose as energy. You break down glucose to release something that is actually going to be used by the cells as energy. That's what we call the ATP. Okay, Nito, that is what we call the ATP. Good. And then magnesium plays an important role in what? In muscle relaxation. There's a condition called tetany. Tetany is a condition that is caused by tetanus, the tetanus toxoid, where you have your muscle contracting so fast. Muscles contract continuously and you cannot control them. That is influx of calcium all through. So what do? Give magnesium sulfate or give magnesium supplements. For those guys who have twitching of the eyes all the time and they are non-stop, you can't help them. Magnesium comes in handy because it causes relaxation of these muscles. So actually magnesium is a muscle relaxant. You can simply eat avocados and nuts to get the supplement that you need. You can do a magnesium supplement to actually make sure that your system wakes up from those contractions that can actually mess you up. And by the way, as magnesium causes relaxation of these muscles, one challenge comes in. When you're taking those antacid suspensions and all that have magnesium causes diarrhea. So magnesium salts cause diarrhea. Magnesium salts cause diarrhea. Calcium salts cause constipation. Do you see again where they go left and right? So this one is causing diarrhea, the other one can actually cause constipation. So when you take in those supplements for magnesium, chances are one of the side effects will be a serious diarrhea. Oh, you will diarrhea yourself all the time. and they'll not tell you. And when you diarrhea, you are losing out on sodium and you're losing out on the potassium sometimes. But vomiting is the one that actually is responsible for potassium, a high amount of potassium loss. But diarrheaing, you're losing chloride, you're losing water and getting dehydrated, and you're losing sodium. So magnesium can actually, again, cause sodium deficiency when you're actually getting into the diarrheaing stage. So yes, this one is a very good element, but it has a lot of challenges in terms of taking the supplements. That's why it is easier if you simply eat foods that are rich in magnesium, because the body knows what to do with this magnesium. Excess of it will be taken out, rather than go for the supplements, thinking that these supplements are going to change your status in terms of hypertension, and yet they are going to actually bring you so many problems later on. So be cautious. Do not be so fast to just jump into supplements because somebody was marketing them to you, because somebody just used them and they improve their sleep. Do not be fast to jump into them, okay? Always analyze your system. When you have a real deficiency that needs to be addressed by the supplements, now we can actually head that direction of supplements as you fix your kitchen and your gut. As you fix your kitchen and your gut. I insist that, because that's where the problems are coming in. Good. So where are the sources of magnesium? Let me read some of the sources of magnesium. One, of course, green leafy vegetables. Also cruciferous vegetables, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the lettuce, the cucumbers, and all that. We have meats, all types of meats. We have poultry plus the skin. We have beans, our complex carbohydrate. We have sweet potatoes. We have almonds, avocados, and all that. Imagine the foods that we actually advocate for are the foods that still have the magnesium. Why don't we just follow that direction? Imagine, guys, when I tell you to just eat healthy, I really pity these guys who keep on arguing in my comment section. I really pity them. Why? Because they don't know what we are talking about. They are not here on this live. Of course, they will not be here. They don't care. But they will come and put that negative energy in the system. The reality is, if you just start eating healthy, you will not struggle to do anything. You let your body do this. Understand that the body ni kama fundi. It's like a mason. When he tells you to give them cement, please bring cement. If he tells you bring 5 bags of cement, don't start saying, oh, we are attacking kunibia. This one wants to steal cement from me. This one wants to just exploit money from me. At least let them exploit money from you, but let them be responsible for building the wall, so that if it collapses, you can hold them accountable. That's the same way the body operates. So if the body is asking you for nutrients and minerals, give it nutrients and minerals. It will use that as raw materials to rebuild. Our problem is the body is asking for minerals. We keep on giving it crap. We keep on giving it things that don't have any nutritional benefit. So your body is constantly asking, please give me amino acids through eating red meat. Your system tells you, do not give the body red meat. Red meat causes cancer. But eat sausages. The system is saying, please, sir, give me magnesium by eating avocados. They tell you, oh, you know what? Avocados will make you fat because they have fat. The system is telling you, please, give me zinc through eating these pumpkin seeds. The system tells you, no, pumpkin is going to cause you a lot of problems. Actually, do not eat pumpkins, but go and buy, I don't know, pumpkin flour. I'm like, go and buy flour that is fortified with zinc. But why would you take zinc out of this pumpkin and then make the flour and then fortify it? Oh, I put up a video today, and I hope all of you can just actually get to see that video on my YouTube. That video that I put up today, it dropped today. The video that is talking about how this gentleman called Billy Gates is actually messing up our systems. So as we clear up this magnesium thing, let me just deviate a little bit and talk about that. So I made a video because somebody sent me, and I appreciate the videos that you send to me. Whether they don't make sense to you or they make sense to you, please just send them. I'll analyze them and I'll give you a whole video about them. Why? Because those reaction videos actually open up people's heads so fast. So this guy says that we have cows, and cows are emitting 6% of methane in the air, and that's the reason why we're having all this global warming and climate change. First things first, climate change is a hoax. I'm telling you the truth, and I know they can actually come down for this. They can actually bring it down because it's making money for them. So climate change is a hoax. Trust me, you have grown up seeing these things. You've grown up seeing the drought, seeing the floods and all that. It is natural. And for you to actually change that cycle, you need about 30 years. So we have a change in the climates in 30 years. Every time we close the 30-year mark, we change the... Please. I'm telling you, these guys are making money out of us for no good reason. So this guy comes out and says, you know what? Methane is being emitted by our cows. And a lot of these cows are actually in India and Africa, because Indians, they have a way with cows, you know. This guy says, These cows are producing 6% of methane, and they're actually causing a lot of climate change. I'm like, okay, continue. You have a point because it's 6%. Keep going. And he says, for us to actually change the climate, for us to actually bring back our climate in order, what do we need to do? We need to change the cows. Bwana, acha nikunywe maji. We need to change the cows. My friends, how long have we existed with cows? Not only cows, the wildebeest that cross the rivers all the time. All animals, species that are called ruminants, that eat grass. The camels, the donkeys, all these animals have been there all through. His target is not the donkeys, his target is not the wildebeests. No, his target is what? The cows. Also, cows are eating grass, and then during fermentation processes, they are fatting. And as they fat, they are producing methane that is amounting up to 6% of global warming. I'm like, Mheshimiwa, no, Tawe, let's have an agreement. And then he says, you know what? I have invested in companies that actually need to print meat. I've invested in companies that are making vegetable burgers so that we actually ease up on cruelty on animals. We don't slaughter animals anymore. So that we ease up on this methane that is being produced. As if that is not enough, I have provided you guys with the vaccine for your livestock, because you know what? I am intending to destroy your livestock totally. Your cattle, your cows are going to go extinct. So I'll give you this vaccine because I have already associated your cows with the methane and global warming. I have to destroy them, right? So I'm going to give you a vaccine that is rich in mRNA that is going to destroy these cows. And our government allowed it. It is now being advertised in radio. After that, that is not enough. I'm going to give you what to feed your cattle, what to feed your animals, so that they do not emit methane. So not only am I going to give you vaccines to destroy them, I'm going to give you foods to destroy them even further. Imagine that nonsense. Billionaires and their grabbing identity everywhere. And then this guy comes in, does that. Now we have GMO seeds. They don't regrow. Our organic seeds are gone. Now we have vaccines for our livestock. They are vaccinating animals. For animals that did not need any vaccine for any reason. Animals that survived harsh weather conditions. But they have to be vaccinated now. They have to be given foods. And now there will be a license for farming. You heard that? That gentleman, that politician who is ferrying his children to South Africa to hide them. He's telling you that he has to put a bill on the floor that will make sure that you have a license to do farming. That you have to pay taxes for cattle. You have to pay taxes for every single avocado tree that you have in your compound. Do you think they're stupid? They know what they're doing. They worship money. Oh, those guys are so evil, our politicians. But they are who we are. We elected them. So they're just a sample of who we are. Imagine. So we can't blame politicians. We actually need to fix ourselves. That's why we have Identity Fridays. Because we need to fix ourselves so that we can actually elect people in a sane mind. But as long as we are emotional, we'll constantly elect who we are, our samples. And they will go there, they will turn against us. They will destroy us. They are stealing from you and ferrying their children outside the country. They are thinking that bad health will be in Kenya. Bad health is everywhere. Health is universal. Whatever is happening here is happening in South Africa. It's happening in Europe. The only problem is that these rich people want to actually exploit us totally because they know, you see, this guy brought in hormonal contraceptives to actually plan families. Who told you wanted to plan our families? It's just population control. Because they know human resources are a very effective tool in Africa. With all these resources, and then we have people who are thinking in human resource, we are a continent that is untouchable. Now brings in vaccines to our children to make them have all these autoimmune conditions. The COVID vaccine, we've not even recovered from that problem. I hope you guys, if you're on TikTok, please go on YouTube and check that video out. It's the latest video I released today at 11. It's talking about how this guy is just crazy. So go out there and open your head. Go there open-minded and listen. So he's given us vaccines. He's given us GMO seeds. He's given us fertilizers that are toxic and pesticides. These are things that are not approved in his country. That's why he's running away and coming here. And here he's being given this special status privilege or special privilege and status so that he cannot answer to the public. Destroy them. They will never ask a question because you are granted a special status. This same individual is the one that has actually invested heavily in products that are coming from industries that we are eating. So this guy wants to change the animals, and yet, guys, I want you to think with me. How is it even possible that we need to change the cows to actually change the methane emission? Yet, 60% of the methane that is being emitted is coming from natural sources, from man-made sources. So, natural sources are playing a 40% role. These are the seas, because the microorganisms under the sea. Let me tell you how methane is formed. Organic matter being fed on by these bacteria and these microorganisms, they decompose it under low oxygen levels, they release methane. So under the sea, we have all these sea-based the bacteria there that are feeding on organic matter, releasing methane. I even mentioned that in those plantations that we, like Ahero, where we have all these wetlands, where we have this kuna maji everywhere, there's water, where they plant rice, there's bacteria there that is actually producing methane. Okay, there's industries, those are man-made sources. There's these cows that he's talking about, those are natural sources. But the man-made sources, including the jets that he's using to fly here, the private jets, he comes in with a private jet that emits methane, but he doesn't see that. He's so blinded with the money, he's just thinking livestock. So shallow thinking. Sir, how about your private plane? How about your private jet? How much methane does it exist in the environment when it's using jet fuel, when you're using gasoline, when you're using diesel to your industries? How much of it is being emitted? That now you have to target our cows and you have to target our biogas, because if we go, all of us start using biogas, we become independent. Therefore, the power industry is going down. I'm telling you, if all of you just embrace biogas and solar system, how will they manipulate you with those tokens? So this guy is just crazy. So please, anytime you're trying to listen to that guy, remember he brought us AIDS in terms of antiretrovirals. He's brought us GMO seeds. He brought us fake fertilizers and all that. He's brought us all these pesticides. He's brought us vaccines, like COVID vaccines, and people are still recovering from those side effects. He's not even remorseful about that. He's brought us family planning, the contraceptives, hormonal contraceptives that are actually destroying our women. As though these women, as we are still loading our women are suffering, he's now into our kettle. Where? Kitaeleweka. On that note, you remember our president saying that we are in a process of actually activating the digital ID. We will take your fingerprints and your iris. Stay sane. Stay sane. Stay sane. You will remember me. Stay sane. I want you to see how desperate we are, and this is why poverty brings in so many problems. People went on and lined to take eye images of the iris. You remember that thing that is called WorldCoin? Do you remember WorldCoin, guys? Kenyans, do you remember WorldCoin? How many of you were lied to that you will take 7,500 shillings to go and just give your iris details? Hey, do you remember that? WorldCoin. I hope you guys remember. And then it just from nowhere, somebody comes in, sets up all these things with our security agents here. Security agents are here. DCI, ABC, KCB, whatever. They are here. Rekes Squad, they are here. And somebody comes in, a stranger, sets up this WorldCoin and takes details from the public. Iris details from the public. That's DNA. From our public, and nobody says anything until when the public started raising awareness. They're like, who are these people? And now the government acts like it didn't know this was happening. It acts like it didn't know this was happening. Oh, guy, these people are here. What are they doing? Now they come in and sit in parliament discussing the whole afternoon. Those guys with pot bellies doing a lot of nothing, just snoring in the parliament. Oh, WorldCoin is a problem. It has to be let go. At that moment in time, how many Kenyans had registered for WorldCoin? How many? By the time they were sitting down to do that session, how many had settled, had already given their details? And then they went with this story, alafu your story kapotea. It just disappeared from somewhere. Once it disappeared, people went again back to line and do the same things because they were hoping they will be given 7,500 shillings to just give their eye details. You are not paid. You gave out your details. Problems. And the media is very good at marketing these things. And now, they just moved from WorldCoin. And again, how many of you remember the previous government when we were talking about Huduma number? That same Matiang'i that you're saying, oh, you know, this guy is going to bring in discipline and order. He's the same guy who actually gave you 3 days of a holiday. Closed bars, and restaurants and all that, and said, oh, you know, this one, people have to go and register for Huduma number. You register for Huduma number? Did you? Do you have Huduma number? Have you used it anywhere? All the threats in the media. And hey, we were even given a public holiday to register that. In hospitals, they brought these guys to register us. And then, boom, disappeared. Now, it has just come with a new name. It is called now a digital ID. It is now called, is it what? Maisha number or Maisha something, right? Well, we forget so easily because the media acts as a source of distracting us. Just distracts us to that lady who gave us 17 billion of fuel. Cases going there, we are there. It takes us to, I don't know, Bado and whatever. There's a murder case there. It removes us from that murder case after selling the news for a whole week. Takes us to another thing. Oh, now there's a rumor that banks are collapsing. We are busy focusing on how banks are collapsing. We are forgetting there's a vaccine for our children. We are forgetting there's a vaccine for our children that actually brought in problems. The polio vaccine. Do you know? You're constantly distracted. Please, put that media away. Weka your TV kando. You will see the bigger picture. Hamtaelewa mpaka ile siku mtafanya hivyo. Anyway, let's continue with hamtaelewa. Media is used, sells you fear, and then sells you solutions. But you will not know. You will not say, you know what, I cannot sleep without watching news at 9. Endelea kuona news saa 3. Keep watching those news because your favorite politician is now looking for a... Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to market my platform before I move. I have one platform on YouTube, actually 2. One is Hose with Dr. Lewis, but the major platform on YouTube is Health and Wellness Sport, the one that I'm doing a live on right now. Move to that and subscribe. Enjoy health content for free. Those questions that sometimes you ask in the comment section are there. They are answered in videos there. I've even made a playlist that is actually separating these things. Just go on the playlist and see what is happening there. That is one. Number 2, I have a health and wellness platform on TikTok, the one that I'm running a live on. If you are here on TikTok, you've never followed me, simply use that. Just press that plus. Follow. You will get free information of health, on health. I have a Facebook page called Lewis Muchile. I have a channel on Telegram called Health and Wellness Sport. Oh, go there and challenge people. Go there and be challenged. There are people there who understand health better. They will challenge you. They'll make you feel haujui kitu. But they will also make sure that you know something. So they'll teach you something. So go there and bring that energy. We need it. Why? Because some of these platforms shall be locked down. They'll just be brought down. So if we have masses, if you have numbers all over, that will make it easier for us because we can actually pass information to some of you or to all of you. So join that Telegram channel. It is very important. Health and Wellness Sport on Telegram. Good. Again, we have merchandise that we are selling. That is fermented cabbages. That is coffee, roasted coffee. And that is, we told you we are bringing up the mugs and the t-shirts and all that. So you can actually support through that. But the mugs and the t-shirts will communicate when they will come to Nairobi so that you can actually access them. But the fermented cabbages, the tallow, the sheep tallow, and the roasted coffee, roasted and grounded coffee, all of them are at Imenti House. There's a gentleman called Brian Omwenga, Imenti House, 2nd floor, shop number 6T. You can actually go there and just check them out. You will be served. Okay, yeah, so thank you for that. And then we run online consultations every single evening, and we run physical consultations in Nairobi at the end of the month. This month we're not doing it because of the schedule. We'll do it at the end of January. Start booking those appointments now. The number is 0707074722. Use that number to book your online appointments and physical appointments. That is if you want a conversation with us that will change your life for the better. So use that contact to do that. Mickey has pinned it on TikTok. Thank you so much, Mickey. Good. So those are our contacts. Any other contact that is not that, do not be lied to. I only have that contact for consultation. 0707074722. I repeat, I don't have anybody that I'm collaborating with, so don't be lied to. There are con people out there that are going to, of course, they are going to lure you, and you, because you want quick fix, you'll go there, spend some money there, and then you'll blame Health and Wellness Sport. No. Dr. Lewis is the only one who actually does these consultations. So send a text on WhatsApp for the bookings, because the lady who is actually doing the bookings is actually going to travel outside the country. So you can actually use WhatsApp to text and you'll be responded to. Okay, and the contact for the guy, I don't want to give the contact for the guy who is selling fermented cabbage here because it's on my platforms. Because if I do that, now you guys will all be calling the same way you guys do. After live, all of you are calling this number. I'm like, hi guys, it's sita usiku bana. Please don't do that. So I'll give that contact. I've given it on my Facebook, it's on my Telegram, and it's also on my and you can also use the same contact. This 0707 can actually give you the contact for that guy. So just text a message on WhatsApp and it will be responded to. Can you transport out of Kenya like Europe? Yes, we do. We use DHL. But that means you will have to pay. But you'll pay a lot of money for that, you know. But if you're willing to support us, we appreciate that. Anyway, let's continue with magnesium. So, this is the point that I want you to see. We said that magnesium absorption is in the intestines, right? No, we are saying it right now, that magnesium absorption is in the intestines. But magnesium causes diarrhea. So, the best source of the best way to take magnesium is actually taking it through organic foods, because if you take the supplements, diarrhea is coming in because of the relaxation of the smooth muscles that line the gut wall, and diarrhea is coming in. And if you're taking it as an antacid, which most of us do without knowing, more problems, because antacid will neutralize the stomach acid, therefore you will not even liberate magnesium from foods. Okay, good. And then magnesium is excreted through stool, through urine. That means the kidneys and the liver are very important for you to excrete magnesium efficiently. Bure utaingia shida. But alcoholics, the tremors that are present in people who are alcoholics, one, they have vitamin B1 deficiency, the thiamine, right? We talked about thiamine. But if these people, when they get to hospitals and they're being managed with thiamine injections, the vitamin B complex injections, but the symptoms are not going out or they're not going away, the best thing to do is to give them magnesium, because magnesium is the one that is responsible for those tremors in those people who are alcoholics, specifically alcoholics. Why? Because alcohol depletes magnesium so badly. A lot of alcoholics, actually 92 to 95% of alcoholics are suffering low magnesium levels in their system. That's why they end up being very emaciated, they lack appetite, they have very weak bones, and they have very bad teeth. You know those people? They have a lot of problems, and now they have kidney problems. And then, of course, hypertension is coming in because, you know, well, what alcohol does to the blood vessels. So that is magnesium for you. However, I want you to see this, that there are two categories. We have hyper and hypo. So when you have high magnesium, that is hyper. When you have low magnesium in blood, that is hypo. So I want you to see this. Put this side hyper, this side hypo. What are the causes of hypermagnesemia? When you say magnesemia, it just means magnesium in blood. What is the cause of hypermagnesium in blood? Number one is antacids. The use of those antacids that have magnesium, the one that you chew and the syrup. When you take them, you're taking in magnesium, gets into the blood, high magnesium levels, low calcium levels. Number two, kidney failure. Why? Because kidneys are the ones that excrete magnesium from the system. Number three, the thyroid problem, hypothyroidism. When you have hypothyroidism, you end up having low magnesium because the thyroid plays a very important role in absorption of magnesium. That is for the hyper, how you get higher magnesium into the system. Now, hypo, diabetes is number one. So if you have diabetes, chances of you getting into low magnesium levels, ziko juu. Number two, drugs. Which drugs? Antibiotics. Constant intake of antibiotics. Unaanza kumeza antibiotics from the time you're a child. You are messing up your magnesium levels because antibiotics help in excretion of magnesium. So you get into hypo. But most importantly, diuretics. Diuretics are drugs that are used in high blood pressure. Listen. Magnesium deficiency can actually exacerbate hypertension, right? So when you have low magnesium levels, your blood vessels are taking in calcium, they are constricting, blood pressure is going up, hypertension. Low magnesium, hypertension. You can use magnesium to reverse hypertension. But now, you're here taking drugs for the same hypertension that release water from the system or fluids from the system. They are called diuretics. They release water from the system. You urinate a lot of water. These drugs called diuretics are actually causing excretion of magnesium, very quick excretion of magnesium. You will not find time to reabsorb it. When you excrete magnesium, you're going into hypomagnesemia. That is going to bring you more hypertension. So drugs for hypertension can actually cause hypertension as a side effect. Imagine that. So you're eating bad foods that cause you hypertension, and now you're continuously eating the same foods, and now you're taking diuretics, drugs for symptoms of hypertension. You're excreting out magnesium. You're going into more hypertension as a side effect of the same drugs. Are we solving anything? That's why I tell you every time that no human is designed to be on drugs for a lifetime. Now, people are asking, what are these diuretics? One is thiazide diuretics, hydrochlorothiazide. You people call it HCTZ. Number 2, loop diuretics like furosemide. You people call it Lasix. Another one is called potassium sparing diuretics. Potassium sparing, that is what we call what? Spironolactone. You people call it aldactone. These are drugs that actually ease up on magnesium in the system and cause you more problems. So be very cautious when you're on those drugs. If you're on those drugs, please increase your dietary intake of magnesium through the foods that we just said, or you can actually go on a supplement. Oh, now you know. Another one, chemotherapy. Hey, chemotherapeutic drugs, cancer treatment drugs. And the most important one, the largest one that actually causes you total depletion of magnesium is called cisplatin. Cisplatin is an anti-cancer drug, is a chemotherapeutic drug, causes you low magnesium levels. And then antibiotics like gentamicin. I know most of you are constant injectors of gentamicin. Oh, you know what? I have brucellosis. You're injecting. By the way, I think on Wednesday, we shall handle gut problems like brucellosis, like typhoid, like dysentery and amoebic dysentery. All these conditions that actually come in as a result of a gut problem. So we'll handle that on Wednesday. So be here on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Let's talk about these conditions. I've realized people ask me, how you've not talked about brucellosis? I'm going to talk about it then. Oh, drugs for typhoid. I'm going to talk about that then. Oh, acidity, I'm going to talk about that then. So join in the live on Wednesday. We're talking about gut mess and those conditions that come as a result of a gut mess. So gentamicin is used to treat urinary tract infections, to treat most bacterial infections. And it's actually a very good drug that's actually indicated for 21 days sometimes. I see it, 21 days for brucellosis and all that, recurrent brucellosis. Let me tell you this for free. It is called... Hey, I hope you guys can actually get this in. These drugs that are in that category of gentamicin, they actually cause problems with the ears because they destroy the nerve that supplies the ears. That's why one of the side effects, immediately you start injecting it, you start hearing this noise in your ears, the ringing voice in your ears. Also, they are very good at destroying your kidneys. Gentamicin is very good at destroying your kidneys. So those, as you constantly go to hospital and tell the doctor, you know what, hii brucellosis yangu nataka tu gentamicin injection, and you inject it for 21 days. Oh, problems. Because it's toxic to the ear, toxic to the kidneys, and now again causes low magnesium levels. And then other things that can actually cause problems with the low magnesium levels, bariatric procedures like gastric bypass, like the gastric balloons and all that, weight loss procedures, they are going to cause you this problem. And then constant consumption of proton pump inhibitors, omeprazole, esomeprazole, pantoprazole, all those drugs, as you continuously take them for your gastritis and your acidity, you end up getting magnesium deficiency. That is a problem. Now, allow me to talk to you about, I have already talked to you about the use of magnesium in pregnancy. Because one, magnesium is coming in to support the bone density. Two, the magnesium is coming in to actually ease up on increasing levels of blood pressure as a result of fluid retention. And most pregnant women have insulin resistance. So they are consuming these carbohydrates constantly and the sugars because of the cravings, because of estrogen levels that are going up. They end up retaining a lot of water, and that increases blood pressure, and now they have problems. And high blood pressure in pregnancy, which you call preeclampsia, can actually cause a lot of convulsions, can cause termination of that pregnancy, can actually destroy your fetus. So a lot of it is a problem. So why jua tu hivyo? Why jua tu, as much as you're taking those sugars in that pregnancy, even before the pregnancy, you're actually exposing yourself to getting hypertension later, and now you'll need magnesium sulfate for pre-eclampsia. You've seen ladies getting the magnesium sulfate injection. during the hypertension in pregnancy is actually coming in to actually ease up on the blood pressure and prevent those convulsions. It's a good one in this one. So yes, having talked about magnesium, I think I've exhausted magnesium totally. Unless there's a question that I can actually answer, let's just move straight to sodium and chloride. When I talk about sodium and chloride, I'm actually talking about salt. Now, a question that comes in all the time, Daktari, which salt should we use? Which salt should we use? Himalayan pink salt, Celtic salt, and all that. Wanasema Celtic salt. I'm like, guys, when you're growing up, you only knew sea salt and table salt that is iodized. So the problem is, you've become so aware of information, you've read, you've watched videos on YouTube, and now you're thinking Himalayan pink salt is the best, Celtic is the best. We only know sea salt because sea salt has every mineral that Himalayan pink salt has and the Celtic salt has. So use sea salt. Table salt at least has sodium, chloride, and iodine. However, nowadays table salt is actually so much adulterated because they became criminals. So if you are preferring salt, it's actually 167 shillings, the sea salt. Just go in the supermarket and buy sea salt. And a very small amount of it, the food is already tasting salty. So if you overdo it, problems. Anyway, so sodium, as we were talking about magnesium, we realized sodium is the one that is outside the cell, extracellular fluid. So sodium has to get into the cell, inside the cells, right? Now, when sodium gets in, potassium leaves. But when sodium is coming in, something else has to follow that sodium, and that is chloride. So they always follow each other because all of them are outside the cell. So when they're getting into the cell, they go together. Sodium comes in, so chloride comes in. And then potassium leaves so that it can actually balance the positive electrons or electrolytes in the cell. Now, when you take in sodium into the cell and chloride follows into the cell, there's another thing that follows. Water follows them into the cell. When water follows sodium and chloride into the cell, we are actually getting hydrated. Hydrated. This means if you drink water and you then take salt, you're going to have a lot of water in the extracellular fluid and not inside the cell. So that is not hydration. That is just fluid retention. What we need to send this water into the cells. And the only way to send this water into the cells is to create a difference in osmotic pressure or osmolarity in the cell. It has to be higher. So we must pump a lot of sodium into the cell so that water now realizes, oh, that side is where we have more. So we move there because water follows sodium. Okay, so we create the demand. Yes, thank you so much, Engineering, for that. So when sodium goes into the cell, water follows in, and that is adequate hydration. Do you now see the reason why I tell you people, hey, you know what? Before you drink that water, either lick some salt or add a pinch of salt in your glass of water. Because immediately you drink water without adding salt, the next 30 minutes you're urinating, and you're going to flush out sodium from the system through that clear urine that you're urinating. And then the next time you're feeling thirst again, you're taking that bottle of water. So this is the reason why most ladies have very bad skin, even when they carry 2 liters of water every day and they hydrate in the office. They hydrate. They actually get dehydrated for drinking water because they drink water and the next minute they're urinating. They are flushing out the sodium. So as you drink water, make sure in your water, at least when you carry that bottle of water, carry some salt. Every time you drink water, add a pinch of salt. You will get hydrated adequately. You will prevent yourself from going to the toilet. Now, this is for those people who have also been diagnosed with diabetes. Try this tonight. Because you're constantly visiting the toilet because the body is trying to excrete a lot of glucose, which takes water with it, try this night to simply lick salt and drink water before going to bed. See if you will wake up multiple times to go and urinate. You will not. Why? Because salt will help you retain the water. Ask yourself, why is it that people who have high blood sugars, on admission they're given sodium chloride? So actually, salt is coming in to treat sugar problems. Salt comes in to treat sugar problems. As you blame salt and you say, salt is going to cause me hypertension because salt will going to increase my pressure. Ask yourself, why is it that somebody who has diabetes and the blood sugars are at 30, possibly this guy is going into DKA, why is he given sodium chloride in form of normal saline? Because salt is the one that is responsible for treating sugar problems. So take salt. If you're hypertensive or non-hypertensive, take salt. Whether raw or cooked, do not allow your doctor to tell you that cooked salt is better than raw salt. So do not add salt in your food. Cook food with salt and then eat that and then minimize the salt. That doctor is lying to you because he's still telling you to eat brown ugali, which is sugar. He's still telling you to eat natural sugar, which is fruits. Still telling you to take sugar cane, which is sugar. Still telling you to take rice, brown rice, which is sugar. So you're taking in sugar to go and cause insulin resistance, which is actually the number one cause of kidneys retaining water. So when you have insulin resistance, the kidneys retain water. And now that is edema. That's how you end up having that pitting edema. The edema that when you press your legs, you still remain with a hole before it pops back. There's a hole. That's called pitting edema because of insulin resistance, not salt. Because insulin resistance is the one that will retain salt and retain the water. If you have functional kidneys, take salt, whether raw or cooked. And salt is sodium chloride. Basics. And the most important source of sodium and chloride is actually salt. Whether table salt, Himalayan pink salt, whatever. So as you demonize salt or sodium and chloride and justify sugar, you will remain sick for a lifetime. As you demonize the salt and justify sugar and eat carbohydrates, unknowingly you're eating sugars because your doctor tells you carbohydrates are energy giving. That you know what, when you've taken drugs for diabetes and your blood sugar is going down, please go and take glucose. That thing that you're taking that is called glucose is actually dextrose monohydrate. It's not glucose. Go read on it, read on the box. It is not glucose, it's dextrose monohydrate. That is not glucose. So, you know what? When your sugars are going down, drink some soda. He's actually feeding the disease. You will live in that condition for a lifetime. That's why he tells you it is irreversible. So he has to put you on drugs. You go into hypo, he gives you sugar. Some of the doctors even have sugar in their offices because they know they'll inject you with insulin. You'll go into hypo and now they will give you the sugar. You know what? So we actually feeding the disease and then managing the symptoms, playing a game with the system all through. You will never get better. That's why you've been conditioned to think that diabetes and hypertension are irreversible. When I tell you they are irreversible and you believe it, of course, now I have a client for a lifetime. The weird part is your doctor does not even understand that, does not even know. It's the system that actually told him through the RAS system. The RAS system says this, that when you take salt, or let me just make it clear for you. When blood pressure falls below normal levels, the kidneys sense that there's a low blood pressure. So what do? They reabsorb salt, which is sodium and chloride, and water follows. Blood volume goes up, blood pressure goes up. When your blood pressure is going up, the kidneys sense that, they excrete salt, water follows, and blood pressure goes down. From that statement, you know very well that the kidneys are the ones that actually control blood pressure. So your doctor was right up to that moment in time. The only mistake he did is to lie to you that salt will increase blood pressure. Because he is the same person who knows that the kidneys will excrete excess salt. So then how did salt cause high blood pressure? Yet we have functional kidneys that are excreting excess salt from the system. The renin system tells you if you have excess, you will excrete. If you have less, you will reabsorb. So the kidneys, the role of the kidneys is to excrete excess salt. And God was so perfect. He even gave you sweat glands, tear glands, salivary glands to excrete more salt. Your taste buds cannot even allow you to eat excess salt. So God designed you to have a way of excreting salt from the system. But you excrete glucose from urine. That is glucosuria. It's a medical emergency. It's an indicator of diabetes. It's an indicator of failing kidneys. And what causes failing kidneys? Sugar in all forms, including fructose and glucose and lactose. Milk sugar, sugarcane sugar, honey, fruits, processed foods, ugali, rice and chapati, all of them are actually causing insulin resistance, which is the number one cause of the kidney failure. When you have acute or chronic kidney failure, you are now unable to excrete excess sodium and chloride. Now you retain sodium, you retain chloride, you retain water. Now blood pressures will be always up. So the problem is not the salt. The problem is insulin resistance that is actually caused by sugar. So it's time for us to stop blaming salt for what sugar caused us. Do we understand? So I know very well, somebody who has not gone through a medical class, when you get there and you ask your doctor that question, he will slap you with the jargon. Oh, you know the RAS system, the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. You're like, before daktari, wacha. Chumvi ni mbaya basi, nimekubali. Chumvi ni mbaya daktari. Nimesikia sitakula chumvi tena. How long have you stopped eating salt? Have you recovered from hypertension? Have you dropped the drugs for hypertension? So you dropped salt. Yeah? So uliacha chumvi. We expected when you drop salt, which is a cause of hypertension, your hypertension is going to disappear. You're going to drop drugs, right? Are you still on drugs after dropping salt? Is the answer yes? Has your hypertension disappeared now that you dropped salt 5 years ago? Has it gone anywhere? Why are you not asking him? Doctor, you told me to drop salt, but my pressure is still up. Why? And then the same doctor, when you are admitted in hospital, drugs, they use sodium chloride, normal saline. You have high sugars, they give you normal saline. Normal saline is basically sodium chloride. So why are we using salt to treat sugar problems? And then you're telling me salt is a problem. Daktari. In medicine, the craziest thing is that science is constantly evolving. And I tell you for free, science did not discover anything. Science only documented. All these things were here. Hii mambo mnaniambia research na nini. Science did not discover anything. All these things have been here all along. Scientists only document. So they make sense by documenting what has been here anyway. Now, hapo nimeanza kugwara watu. Unaona wakisema normal saline, it looks like it's something from the skies. Oh, this is a perfect solution from China. It is not. Normal saline is actually salt. Now you see, try this. If you have a small child and they have this clogged nose, before you go to the pharmacy to buy nasal drops, the saline nasal drops, just take warm water, add some salt, koroga, and then let it cool, and then take a drop and drop into the child's nose and see how their noses open up. Hey. The same thing, the same salt that we are saying, this one is a problem. It's the same nose, it's the same salt that opens up children's noses when they are clogged. The same salt that is used in hospitals to actually lower blood sugars when they are misbehaving. But it's a problem, right? Salt is a problem. And then we name it normal saline. When we say normal saline, you're like, normal saline. What is saline? Saline is salt. What is normal? Normal saline is tukisema normal saline, now we become doctors with a stethoscope and a white coat. And miwani with the kamba. Miwani zile ziko na kamba, tunakuangalia hapa juu hivi. Now we look so serious. And if we say normal saline, we are good to go. We say dextrose 5%. Instead of just saying this glucose, dextrose 5%. Come on, Daktari. Come on. You can't exercise you can't flex on us with those jargons. Now we know it's not normal saline, it's just salt plus water, right? Tuna flexing mbaya. Tukiflex lazima utii. Ukitii sana I'm walking out of that consultation room belching because I just ate chapatis and tea here. Andika hapo day wewe. Dilute insulin in like where? Anyway, let's move. So what are the sources of sodium? But anyway, let me just give you the functions of sodium, right? And anywhere there's sodium, there must be chloride. So these are the functions of sodium. So that you know. It supports, listen, there's no nervous transmission without sodium. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium, they play a very important role in nerve transmission. So you'll have those numbness if you don't have sodium. And guess what? Hypertension and diabetes, they cause nerve problems, right? Because they exert a lot of pressure on nerves. They destroy nerves. Bring in the salt, repair the nerves. Start fasting, drop the sugar. Simple. Look at that. Nerve transmission, sodium. Maintenance of blood pressure, sodium. Kidney function, sodium. Cellular function, no cell can function without sodium. None. Reproduction, sodium. So when did salt become a problem? Ladies, if you're infertile, drop anything that feeds estrogen. Start fasting, start going to the gym, rehydrate with salt and water. Men, if you're having problems with fertility and erections, sodium is coming in because of nervous transmission towards your penis. You need sodium. You need salt. What you don't need is energy drinks in the gym. What you don't need is sugar to help you get energy. What you don't need is a bottle of energy drink besides your bed when you're having sex. There's no energy in that. It's just a psychological thing. There's no energy in that. What you need is water and salt. So instead of that energy drink, at least put a bottle of salt and water besides your bed. And then thank me later. Good. So what are the sources of sodium? Salt, of course. Meats, poultry, Potatoes, the sweet potatoes, not the Irish potatoes. Irish potatoes are crazy. By the way, if you have a child and you're feeding them with Irish potatoes, those things are so adulterated. Anyway, what are the sources of chloride? Olives. Therefore, extra virgin olive oil and olive leaves are actually perfect in this. Table salt, perfect in this. Tomatoes, perfect in this, but do not use the GMO tomatoes. Plant your own tomatoes at home. That is sodium, that is chloride. And wherever sodium goes, chloride follows and water follows. Do you really need me to actually go deeper into this and explain to you, oh, extracellular fluid has all this, oh, if you do this, there is an inverse proportion between extra and intracellular fluid. Do you need that? Don't you need the basics? We need the basics. Let's take 2 calls and then call it a night. On Wednesday, brucellosis, typhoid, typhus fever. Do we really need the typhoid vaccine? We're going to break it down for you. What are the egg allergies we are talking about? What is this hyperacidity that you're talking about? Is it the cause of problems in our gut? Why do we blame milk and the Brucella bacteria when it has been there all through? Why? Is there something that can actually protect us from it without us going to take doxycycline or ciprofloxacin or levofloxacin? What an amazing conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, always amazing to have you here. Now, you are good at one thing. Do it until they get to know, they get to actually identify you with that. You have your own identity, but let them identify you with what you're doing. Do it with all you have. Don't call it passion. Passion is an evil word, just quoting the evil nature. Just do it with all you have. There's nothing like passion. Are we doing this with passion? I have a passion for you don't have a passion. Passion is emotions. Emotions are feelings. Feelings are thoughts. Thoughts are evil at all the time. Identify this. You cannot miss out on that. Thank you so much for each and every one of you who is gifting us, who is liking the live, who is sharing the live, who actually appreciates us, follows us, and has subscribed to my YouTube channel. You guys are amazing. You are the reasons why we push ourselves harder to make sure that we study hard. My friend, it is not easy being me. I didn't see it being this difficult. I thought, I've gone to school, I'll just come here and just share these things. It is not easy being me. Why? Because I have to remember everything that I've taught you. At least for you cannot remember it. But one day you'll watch my video and you'll want me to explain that video in relationship to this video. So I have to remember every single thing. That's why it's hard for me to lie. Oh, if I lie, I'll forget. And who has time to remember a lie? Because I have to remember that lie. If I don't, I have to create another lie to defend the first lie. Now I have 2 lies to remember. Nina nguvu kweli. Oh, you guys are so amazing. Amazing audience. And guess what? As they push negative energy, sometimes I go into the comment section once in a while on TikTok. I see you guys tackling them. I'm like, this is my student. I'm like, amazing. Hizo tackles mnapigana huko. I'm like, this one. Hata mimi singemtackle hivyo. So thank you for tackling those guys with identity problems. You saw what happened on Friday last week. We thought, this guy is just coming in to tackle me on that comment section, only to turn out that this gentleman had a lot of identity issues, and we fixed it. And we hope that he actually took it serious so that he can exchange his life for better. Doc, I'm skipping breakfast and lunch. I only have supper. Is it okay? 1 meal a day is a way of life, bro. There's nothing like breakfast and lunch, just 1 meal a day, okay? That's the way of actually making us slaves, so that we can actually eat their cereals during breakfast and we become more sick. So that guy can actually give us his burgers, vegetable burgers and printed meats in the morning in form of sausages and smokies and bacon and canned meats. We get MSG, we get cancer. He'll bring us an aid in terms of anti-cancer, the chemotherapy. Imagine that. They create a problem, then they create a solution. Then they come in between and tell us, you know what, we are the ones who brought you the solution. They are the problem creators. Oh, guys, amazing conversation. So is there any other question regarding this? Sneezing in the morning, shida ni nini? Shida ni wewe, because you're eating wheat, you're eating seed oils, you're consuming sugar. Change that and then stop eating in the morning. And then stop taking those antihistamines. Allow yourself to go through it. Once you go through it, your body adapts, your body creates. Guys, I told you I used to carry 4 handkerchiefs in my pocket. I used to live in Thika and I used to work in KNH. So I'd carry 4 handkerchiefs. By the time I'm getting from Thika to town, 3 handkerchiefs already wet. And then I'll still buy Coca-Cola in town and head to KNH to just go and drink there. They even told me, why don't you run an advert for Coca-Cola, the soda? I was like, it's just cold and sweating. You know, when it's cold and sweating, you know, guy? Eh? And the soda is cold and sweating. You're like, this one. Perfecto. Hey. Stop drinking alcohol. Stop drinking sodas. You don't need them. I missed your comment on milk. Please repeat. Ask the question. I want the question. Now, is there anybody who wants a conversation here, or we call it a night? We can call it a night, right? We meet on Wednesday. Maybe 2 questions here. What is this? Are improved eggs healthy? What do you mean by improved eggs? Do you mean the fortified eggs? Because I've seen fortified eggs, my friends. Fortified eggs. Hey. Anyway, the system is cruel. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of us this night. How to go off insulin? There's a whole procedure. You can actually book an appointment with us. We'll actually help you do that. But you cannot go off insulin just that fast. You must change some things before your blood sugar stabilize, and then you start tapering down the dose of insulin, and you're good to go. Soy milk is estrogen. Avoid anything that has estrogen. Don't take estrogens into your system. You already have estrogen in your system. It's enough. Okay? Those are the reasons why. Soya beans, soy milk, soy protein shakes, soy powders in the gym, all these things are messing you people. Milk is for calves and babies. It's not for adults, unless it is fermented milk without boiling and without adding sugar. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It has been amazing. I told you and I promised you that I'll clear magnesium, I'll clear sodium and chloride, which are part of the macro minerals or macro elements. And I've done that today. I hope that I've done justice to you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Please, if you're still here, do not forget to go and watch that video on YouTube. Let me just tell you what the name that is actually labeled. It's a video that is very interesting. It will teach you something. Help us spread this gospel, because I understand the algorithms of YouTube, what they're doing. They're just stepping on the videos all the time, and that's okay. We don't care about that. We did not come here to actually do please YouTube. So it's called printed meat inventory in quotes, printed meat inventory. Go there and check out that video, enjoy it, and then comment on it, like it, share it, and let's save our generations. Okay, Africa is our business, and our business is Africa. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you learned something new. Go and spread the gospel. Become a doctor where you are. Spread it. Let them hear it. If they don't want to listen, let them just hear. They will come back to you one day and know that you are saying what is the truth when they'll see their body is punishing them for what they're doing. So thank you again, and may God protect you. Have a good night. We'll see you on Wednesday. Prepare yourself for another great live on Wednesday. Those people who have ulcers, brucellosis, constant brucellosis, typhoid, and cholera and all that, bring that conversation on board. We will roll it down for you, and we'll make you know why those wide old tests were brought down and they're still being used even now. They're scams. H. pylori tests are scams. Welcome on Wednesday. See you. Oh, before I forget, tomorrow is a testimonial Tuesday. So tomorrow, bring your testimony. Tomorrow we are starting at 8:30 p.m. until late. Bring your testimonies. I'll not be talking. I'll allow you to just talk. So tomorrow is testimonial Tuesdays. Be here at 8:30 and listen to other people inspiring you with their stories and their recovery processes. Be inspired and inspire other people. Thank you so much, and have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time, same place. Have a good night.